Welcome to Reinventing Broadcast, where AI meets content. Hosted by Ben Anker. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm Ben, here with my AI co-host David. And wow, do we have an exciting show for you today. Episode 20, we've made it this far, thanks to all our amazing listeners.
That's right, Ben. And what better way to celebrate than diving into what's shaping up to be the most transformative IBC yet, IBC 2025, in Amsterdam, happening September 12th through 15th. The buzz around this year's show is absolutely palpable, and AI is literally everywhere.
You know, David, I have to share something personal here. My relationship with IBC goes back to 2010, when I was still in full-time employment. I remember that empty office feeling in September. It was like everyone who mattered in the industry had just vanished to Amsterdam. It wasn't a show to be missed. It was the pilgrimage.
That's such a perfect way to describe it. A pilgrimage. When did you first make that journey yourself?
Well, after transitioning to being a strategic technology consultant, I finally made it in 2014, and boy, did it live up to the bill. The show was everything I'd heard. Lots of clients, incredible camaraderie with fellow consultants, and tech galore. Back then, when Airbnb was allowed, I stayed in quintessentially Amsterdam neighbourhoods, even on houseboats. I'd walk or cycle to and from the Ray each day. There's something magical about that Amsterdam experience.
And that was quite the era for AI development too, wasn't it?
Well, 2014 was actually when I first saw a demo of machine learning by AWS at IBC. It was mind-blowing at the time. The following year, I got AWS certified, and I watched their stand grow year on year. And oh, the fabled AWS parties, stuff of legends. But as the years wore on, I became more strategic about what I wanted from the show, seeking that perfect parity of latest tech and cultivating meaningful industry connections.
And then came the pandemic disruption.
Right, the disappointment of the 2020 show cancellation. Then 2021 was cancelled at the last minute. It was supposed to happen in December 2021, which we all agreed would be different, cold but possibly festive. Instead, I ended up hosting a gallery-style live IBC 2021 podcast. But that's the thing about IBC, it's part of the rites of passage in some ways, almost like a pilgrimage you must do at least once. What a place, what an event.
Well, 2025 certainly feels like a return to form, doesn't it? The theme this year is Shaping the Future, and that couldn't be more appropriate. It feels like we're at this incredible inflection point where AI has moved from being experimental to actually being embedded in real production workflows.
And here's what's fascinating. This isn't just about shiny new toys anymore. Ross Tanner from Magnify put it perfectly when he said, AI is transforming content production end-to-end, automating scripting, enriching live production with real-time tagging, and accelerating post with instant highlights, edits, and localization.
That quote really captures where we are right now. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the vibe at IBC this year. Because while everyone's excited about AI, there's also this underlying current of practical realism.
You're absolutely right. CEO Michael Crimp has been refreshingly honest about this. Attendance is expected to be relatively flat, around 45,000 people, maybe a 2% bump from last year. He cited macroeconomics as the reason, which is a diplomatic way of saying the global economic uncertainty and ongoing geopolitical tensions are making people more selective about travel and investment.
But here's the interesting thing. Despite the cautious attendance, we've got over 1,300 exhibitors confirmed, filling nearly 44,000 square metres across all 14 halls. The big players like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Sony, they're all making even bigger commitments. It's like they know this is the moment where AI really proves itself.
Speaking of proving itself, one of the most exciting developments is what's happening in Hall 14, the new Future Tech Zone. This is where tomorrow's technology meets today's reality. Microsoft is sponsoring the Future Tech Stage, and there's this incredible Google AI Penalty Challenge that uses over 15 integrated technologies to showcase AI-driven decision-making in sports performance.
And can we talk about the IBCX Google Cloud Hackfest? This is happening September 13th and 14th, and it's bringing together 250 digital innovators, tech entrepreneurs, and engineers to tackle real media challenges using Google's Gemini AI. They're actually building fast channels in real time using Formula E content. Some real, some generated with AI.
The Hackfest really embodies what IBC is about. It's not theoretical anymore. These teams tested their concept back in July at Google's London headquarters, with teams from ITV, Channel 4, RTE, and Sky. The fact that major broadcasters are dedicating resources to experiment with AI workflows tells you everything about where the industry is heading.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty of what AI is actually doing in broadcast right now. Roberto Musso from NDI made this point that really stuck with me. Beyond a tool to automate tasks, AI is increasingly a creative partner for live production teams. The use of AI in workflows has allowed teams to simplify the content production process by enlisting tools that offer functions such as automatic camera tracking, optimizing audio levels, and generating graphics in real time.
That shift from tool to creative partner is huge. We're seeing what the industry calls agentic workflows, where AI systems can execute complex multi-step tasks with minimal human oversight while maintaining editorial quality standards. These systems can tailor content for different audiences, apply real-time metadata, and format content for multiple channels simultaneously.
And the newsroom applications are particularly compelling. AI is handling transcription, translation, and metadata enrichment, which frees up journalists to focus on the actual reporting and analysis. It's simultaneously formatting stories for TV, digital, and social platforms. The efficiency gains are staggering.
Now, from a business development perspective, what's really exciting is the startup ecosystem around this AI transformation. IBC is showcasing some fascinating new exhibitors this year. Companies like Barron Weather, Cachefly, Momento, New Blue, OTT Solutions, PlaneX, Racing, and Remotely. These aren't your traditional broadcast companies, which shows how the definition of broadcast technology is expanding.
That's where the AWS connection becomes really interesting. AWS is celebrating 10 years since acquiring Elemental Technologies, which really marked their serious entry into the media and entertainment space. They're showcasing how BBC, Sky Sports Plus, and Formula One are using their services for everything from live cloud production to generative AI applications.
And here's something our listeners should know. AWS has some incredible programs for startups. Through AWS Activate, eligible startups can access up to $100,000 in cloud credits, plus enhanced technical support and training resources. For media startups working on AI-driven solutions, this can be absolutely game-changing.
The AWS Generative AI Accelerator is particularly noteworthy. It's an 8-week global program for late seed to Series A, startups building the future of generative AI. AWS selects 40 top startups each year and equips them with up to $1 million in credits, hands-on mentorship, and direct access to investors and enterprise customers.
What I love about this is how AWS is creating this ecosystem where startups can rapidly prototype and scale AI solutions for broadcast. The AWS and NVIDIA Innovation Stage in Hall 14 is going to host over 25 sessions. One session that caught my attention is Pushing the Limits AI Innovation in Live Sports with Formula One, featuring Ruth Buscombe, who's the lead race strategist at Formula One.
Can you imagine having AI helping make split-second strategic decisions during a Grand Prix? AWS is also showing off their Bundesliga Fußball demo that uses machine learning and AI to enhance fan experiences. But what's really interesting is this multi-organization news production demo they're doing with Reuters, BBC News, Sky News, and CNN, showing how news can be produced and shared collaboratively across organisations in real time using the cloud-native agile production framework.
That collaborative aspect is huge. And speaking of collaboration, there's this strong theme emerging around interoperability and open standards. Chris Evans from IABM said something really important. In this environment, we should be discussing how excellence in leadership is vital for our industry to not only successfully navigate change, but set a path for a sustainable future.
The push for the Media Exchange Layer initiative is particularly noteworthy. It's designed to break down vendor lock-in and enable more flexible system architectures. Ian wagged in from a peer called IBC 2025, a pivotal moment for aligning around a more open, software-centric broadcast future.
Now let's talk awards and recognition, because this is where we get to see what the industry thinks truly matters. The IBC Innovation Awards have 5 categories this year: content creation, content distribution, content everywhere, social impact, and environment and sustainability.
The finalists were just announced and they're fascinating. In content creation, we've got MBC, Pixtree, and SK Telecom for AI-assisted remastering of content for Korean terrestrial broadcaster, MBC. There's also NBC Olympics IP-based multi-viewer editorial workflow for Paris 2024 gymnastics coverage, which captured over 60 live sources using a mosaic-based editorial workflow.
And in the environment and sustainability category, France Télévisions is nominated for reducing CO2 emissions by 300 tonnes through their pioneering cloud production and private 5G network, while broadcasting 24/7 coverage of the Olympic torch relay. That's the kind of innovation that shows AI and sustainability can work hand in hand.
Sony's also making sustainability a key focus. They're scrutinising their stand for recyclable and reusable materials as part of their Road to Zero programme, aiming for carbon neutrality by 2040. It's refreshing to see sustainability being more than just a buzzword.
Let's talk about some of the major announcements. NDI is celebrating their 10th anniversary with their largest ecosystem showcase to date. They're featuring NDI-enabled products from Rode and Panasonic, plus partnerships with AWS, VHD, Viz RT, and others.
And there's the IBC Launchpad, the space for emerging exhibitors. This year we'll see startups, researchers, academic bodies, students and journalists adding brilliance to the exhibition. It's a perfect hunting ground for identifying the next wave of innovation.
One thing that's becoming clear is that personalisation at scale is going to be a major theme. Kathleen Barrett from Backlight said, "Personalised video at scale is set to define the next wave of media transformation, reshaping how broadcasters, streamers and brands engage audiences."
This goes beyond simple content recommendation engines. We're talking about dynamic content assembly, real-time transcoding, and intelligent distribution systems that adapt to network conditions and device capabilities. Ivan Verbessel from Mediagenics put it well. The industry conversation should focus on moving beyond bolt-on personalization to embedded intelligence that drives strategic decisions.
But let's address the economic pressures. The industry is definitely feeling the squeeze. Fabio Varolo from Fora Europe mentioned that several customers have reduced the number of people they're sending to IBC, and one decided not to come at all because of the costs.
That's why efficiency is becoming such a buzzword at IBC 2025. Jan Weigner from Synergy had this great quote: "Everyone's so busy chasing the AI gold rush that we've forgotten to ask the basic question, is this actually useful, or are we just adding expensive complexity?"
That's such an important reality check, but what's encouraging is that we're seeing AI applications that genuinely solve real problems. Lee Ottaway made this point about operational intelligence. The missing conversation is operational intelligence, how AI can optimize the business of broadcasting, not just the content creation.
Environmental impact monitoring is an emerging application where AI systems track carbon emissions and energy consumption at the process level. This addresses the growing industry focus on sustainability while identifying cost optimization. Opportunities. It's practical AI that delivers measurable business value.
Looking at the conference program, there's this incredible mix of traditional broadcast companies and digital native platforms. YouTube's Vice President for EMEA, Pedro Pina, is speaking alongside Channel 4's Director of Technology, Grace Boswood, about how platforms and broadcasters can collaborate more effectively.
And the Technical Papers program is back with peer-reviewed research on emerging topics. There's an AI assistant agent project being developed by teams from BBC, ITN, Google, and Quez, specifically for live newsroom environments. Another fascinating project explores private 5G from land to sea to sky for mobile production in remote locations.
The Accelerator program has 8 projects this year, sponsored by Google Cloud, AMD, and HP. They're addressing everything from generative AI frameworks to ultra-low latency streaming at scale. These aren't just academic exercises. They're outcome-driven initiatives designed to unlock real-world game changers.
What's particularly exciting is that several of these projects will have live proof-of-concept demonstrations in the Accelerator Zone in Hall 14. Visitors can see these innovations in action rather than just hearing about them in presentations.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about what this all means for the future. The industry is clearly at an inflection point where AI has moved from experimental to operational. But there's also this recognition that success isn't just about having the shiniest AI tools. It's about integrating them thoughtfully into workflows that deliver real value.
The fact that IBC is dedicating an entire hall to future tech, while also ensuring that AI conversations are happening across all 14 halls, shows how pervasive this transformation really is. It's not confined to one section. It's everywhere.
And the emphasis on collaboration and open standards suggests the industry has learned from past technology transitions. Nobody wants to get locked into proprietary systems that become obsolete in a few years. For startups especially, this creates incredible opportunities to build solutions that solve real problems while leveraging programs like AWS Activate to scale rapidly.
As we look toward IBC 2025, the excitement is definitely palpable. This feels like one of those shows where we'll look back and say, that's when everything changed. The combination of practical AI applications, sustainability focus, startup innovation, and collaborative business development creates this perfect storm of transformation.
For our listeners who are attending, make sure to spend time in Hall 14, catch some of the AWS and NVIDIA Innovation stage sessions, and definitely check out the IBC Hackfest and don't miss the Launchpad area. That's where you'll discover the next generation of broadcast innovators. This is where you'll see the future being built in real time.
And if you can't make it to Amsterdam, we'll be following the developments closely and bringing you all the key insights and announcements in future episodes.
That's a wrap on episode 20. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the AI revolution at IBC 2025. The future of broadcast is being shaped right now, and it's incredibly exciting to be part of this transformation. Until next time, keep innovating and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Thanks for listening to Reinventing Broadcast. Subscribe for more on AI content and the future of media. And visit ancast.tv for more info on Ben himself, the resources, other content, and news.